plain to see of winter everywhere. Reminds me of the things you said, the loving in your eyes. Like the promises of early spring, your words all turned to lies. Here I sit a-thinking, wondering what to do. The cold night hours are dragging by, it's 20 after 2. The words we spoke a while ago hang heavy in the air. And old promises like autumn leaves, they scattered everywhere. 'Cause if all the broken promises were strung out end to end, they'd wind a chain of sorrow round the world and back again. Memory of the good things helped me hang on through the years. But after a while, the good things just can't outweigh the tears. All the times you promised me you'd never lie again. Well, we both know how the story goes and how this song will end. Soon the night will roll back, bringing on another day. We're left to face each other with nothing else to say. Promises of long ago are all we have to share. Old promises like autumn leaves, they scattered everywhere. 'Cause if all the broken promises were strung out in the end, they'd wind a chain of sorrow round the world and back again. Yes, if all the broken promises were strung out in the end, they'd wind a chain of sorrow round the world and back again.
Earth First, how did it start and why?
It started, the environmental movement got together on a camping trip to the Peña Desert in Mexico. We had been talking about how the environmental movement had been compromised and co-opted, how we were compromising more but getting less, and we decided that there was a need for a group that would articulate a pure wilderness position, that would ask fundamental questions about the relationship of human beings to nature, and that would provide a radical critique of industrial society and would take the kind of strong action to follow through on that type of philosophy.
How do you see Earth First is different than other environmental organizations? Why is it necessary as opposed to a Greenpeace or another group?
I think all other environmental groups are basically the loyal opposition to industrial society. We are outside of industrial society. We are questioning the very basis of industrial society. We don't attempt to reform it. We want to overthrow Western civilization.
What do you think about that statement?
I have to say he's probably right.
a sense of smell. He always gets a replay, and he never tilts at all. That deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure plays a mean pinball. But he can't beat me now, I've always been the champ. I know every trick, no freak's gonna beat my hand. How do you think he does it? What makes him so good?
You wrote the book Eco Defense, Guide to Monkey Wrenching, and some people have criticized Earth First as being, they've gone as far as to say you're terrorists. What would be your response to that?
Well, if I was a rich Republican pulling down $100,000 a year as executive director of the Sierra Club or the National Wildlife Federation, I'd call Earth First terrorists too. I'm surprised they haven't claimed we get our money from Muammar Gaddafi. The simple fact of the matter is that there is terrorism in the national forest, out in the wilderness. But the terrorists are the National Forest Service, the U.S. Park Service, and their corporate masters. All we're doing is trying to become part of the wilderness and acting in our own self-defense. That's not terrorism. That's a common right of every good American.
This is the Stephen Foster song. Let us pause in life's pleasures and count its many fears, while we all sup sorrow with the poor. There's a song that forever will linger in our ears. Oh, hard times come again no more. 'Tis the song, the sigh of the weary. Hard times come again no more. Many days you have lingered around my cabin door. Oh, hard times come again no more. You know, that's a good damn song, boy. And you can see why I had to rip that sucker off. Anyway, now when you hear that line from Stephen Foster's song, you'll recognize it, and you can sing on it. It'll be a lot of fun. It always worked for Pete Seeger. We'll play the guitar all night long when the good old days come back, when the Wabash Cannonball comes steaming down this rusty track. We'll sing along with the bluebird song on the cool, clean river shore. And there'll be a chicken in every pot when the hard times come no more. Oh, hard times come again no more. All I see is poverty when I look for a brighter day. The good Lord knows where the good times go, but the good times sure go away. I ought to make a damn good wealthy man. I ain't doing good at poor. But there'll be a chicken in every pot when the hard times come no more. Oh, hard times come again no more. I'm tired of singing sad songs. I want to dance an old-time jig. Well, I recall when the bills were small and a Cadillac was big. A government bond was good as gold. A handshake meant for show. We used to have a chicken in every pot. Oh, hard times come no more. Oh, hard times come again no more. I hope I'm here to stand and cheer when nobody has the blues. You watch TV and all you see is nothing but good news. I want to see the old SP chasing Amtrak out the door. I want to see a chicken in every pot and the hard times come no more. Oh, hard times come again no more. Many days you have lingered around my cabin door. Oh, hard times come again no more.
Well, we're involved in a number of different campaigns at this point. We try to look at issues in a way that'll bring a little light to the larger question, some of the things that Dave was just talking about. But I'd say probably number one in our priority is preservation of the world's wild areas, the undeveloped areas, the areas where natural processes still go on fairly much uninterrupted. And these places are scattered all over the globe, and therefore our actions are pretty dispersed too. We're certainly not big enough to take all of them, but what we do try to do is to really confront these institutions and these governments and these corporations that are constantly, diminishing the natural world, reducing it to small park-sized parcels, and through that we're trying to bring about some enlightenment as how much, as human beings we really need that world, that we cannot live without that world, that if we lose that, we lose ourselves. And so some of the actions we've taken recently have been in defense of forests in the Pacific Northwest, Northern California redwoods, the Doug firs in Oregon, trying to save spotted owl habitat in Washington State. And we do this by a number of ways, but most of what we do is called direct action. We confront, we intervene, we interfere, we try to stop. It goes beyond symbolic action. These are defensive actions, they're deliberate actions, through taking very positive steps in our own lives to try to confront these things, we're trying to get other people to confront the whole worldview that is really causing this, and we realize that it's that worldview that ultimately we're going to have to deal with, and not just all these individual issues.
I always wanted to write a historical ballad, so I did. What better thing could I write about than something I know about, Anyway, I was always interested in outlaws, up until Willie Nelson and Waylon Jennings. Anyway, these outlaws were California outlaws, and it was really kind of interesting because after when they finally caught up with him and killed him, then they cut off Joaquin Murrieta's head and three-fingered Jack's hand, and he took him around and showed him, pickled him in formaldehyde and showed him at carnivals and fairs. And that was all good and well, until they finally figured out there was a total of 9 heads and hands that were making the round. Who in the hell were those other 8? Or if any of them. As a child I heard tales about Three-Fingered Jack. He rode out with Joaquin and they never rode back. And back home we heard stories about the treasures and glories and the wild times the two of them seen. Jack and the man called Joaquin. Well, the mighty Sierras are high and they're cold, and the Mexicans work and the gringos got gold. And how can you blame a man trying to claim something better than peppers and beans? The outlaws Jack and Joaquin. Well, a high-stepping horse and a long-barrel gun make a man proud, and a proud man won't run. And a man you should fear is a man you can't scare. And that crippled hand reached for a dream he shared with a man called Joaquin. Well, they hide through the day and they ride through the night, and sometimes they'll run, but sometimes they'll fight. And how can you find them when you're always behind them? Like phantoms, they're felt but not seen. The outlaws Jack and Joaquin. Well, the mighty Sierras are quiet today. But old Mexican women light candles and pray that the head and the hand that were shown through the land was somebody they'd never seen, and not those for Jack and Joaquin. And the stories are told every now and again about a ranch in Sonora that was run by two men, and they lived there like lords, never crossing the border, and living like old Spanish kings. And they claimed it was Jack and Joaquin.